Welcome to the Franchising 360 Show, the only show that takes you inside the world of franchising, with hosts Tim Parmeter and Danielle Wright.
Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us on the Franchising 360 Show. I am Tim Parmeter, and with me, as always, is Danielle Wright.
As always.
As always, Danielle Wright, and as always on the Franchising 360 Show, we are going to take a 360-degree view of this industry. We're going to help you learn what it is all about to become a franchise owner, how to find the best one to own, how to succeed once you are an owner. Sometimes we're going to talk about how to take an existing business and turn it into a franchise. Today, we're going to talk about none of those things, really. But still an organization, a group in franchising that does amazing work that honestly, I don't even know between us, 25 years of experience. Had you asked us to completely explain what this organization does a week ago, we could have nailed it.
Well, but that's the 360 part of it, right? It's like we are to every audience, and I think this is more to franchisees. And you said how to be successful at it, kind of understanding when you're not, like self-awareness.
Right.
I'm not where I should be. How should I get to where I am? Whose fault is it? And then how do I fix it? It's not a bad thing.
No, and I've said this numerous times on this show and even on our Franchising 101 podcast of like, we don't talk enough about the power of franchise owners and how they can communicate and be their best resources. I seem to say that without ever doing anything more than that. So we may have to kind of tackle that at some point.
Maybe.
But I'm also pretty darn sure we have a franchise fun fact for this episode. What you got?
Okay, here's the fact, and it's not a question. I'm just gonna blurt it out.
Just straight fact.
Are you ready? Straight fact.
Okay.
The franchise industry in 2026 is adding more than 156,000 new jobs. Did you know that?
So the franchise industry is adding 156,000 new jobs.
New jobs.
Okay.
New jobs. And that will bring total employment to 8.9 million workers.
Once again, talking about when there's the job market, employment, all of those things, or AI, right? None of those things are taking away the entrepreneurship and not taking away the potential to own things, which those owners are now creating jobs in their local market.
Look at you merging all of them together. So here's the next fact about this, is that's more people than the entire population of the state of Virginia.
Okay, that's a random state to choose.
I mean, hey, you didn't ask about where the fact came from or how detailed the fact needed to be. That's just the fact.
Okay. It's an insane amount of jobs. It goes, I think, also touches on the IFA thing that they're talking about now, like franchising means local.
Yeah, and we have a whole thing called Franchises in the Wild.
Right.
We're here in Dallas-Fort Worth. We visited a franchise for breakfast and did a video. Like, we visited a franchise for lunch.
We did, in fact.
We did not do a video of that, but there really are everywhere. And it was seriously where lunch was. It was two franchises in the same building.
Yes.
Maybe not owned by the same people, definitely not the same food product, but definitely two franchises.
Yes, they are in fact everywhere and providing jobs basically everywhere, not just Virginia. So we've got a super cool guest to come on and join us here in a bit and talk about the work that they are doing to help franchisees become even more successful. That is next here on the Franchising 360 Show. Hey, we are back on the Franchising 360 Show. Tim Parmeter with Danielle Wright, and we are now going to be joined by our guest, Ms. Amy Mancuso, who is the Chief Development Officer and Trustee for the AAFD, which is, Amy, I think I got this, American Association of Franchisees and Dealers. Amy, thanks for joining us.
Oh, thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
We've got a bunch of things to talk about, not the least of which is what the heck is the AAFD and how does that benefit anybody in the franchising space? But give us a little Amy background on kind of you and how you got into this crazy sphere that is franchising.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a long road to get here. Previous backgrounds had marketing, technology developer, and then landed a job with the AFD about 10 years ago as their head of membership development. And I had dipped my toe in franchising a little bit, working with a franchisor actually out of Hackettstown, New Jersey. We did wine juice. Didn't know that actually existed, but for vineyards who don't have the ability to grow grapes, that was a solution. So I kind of dipped my toe into franchising and then learned about the AAFD through a friend and was hired as a membership development. And I have been here for 10 years. Actually, May 1st will be 10 years, which I guess is tomorrow, and have sort of grown with the company exponentially. We went from 4 employees to now we are up to about 15 people. And my role has changed pretty significantly in what my responsibilities are. But it's a great place to be. I can honestly say that I love my job. I don't ever feel like it's a chore to get up every day and go to work. And I work almost every day because I truly love what I do. And franchising is an interesting market. So it's a great space to be in. And yeah, and it's a great company. So we're doing a lot of great things.
Excellent. So tell us what are some of those great things, or kind of what is when we talk about the AAFD, what's the kind of the core mission?
So our core mission is really to create a more fair and balanced relationship between franchisees and franchisors. So we do that in just some of the services that we provide. We help different franchisees of brands come together and we help them form what we call chapters. They're essentially like an independent association, but they don't have to go through the process of filing a tax return and getting their own EIN number as an independent association normally would. So we get to save them right from the jump on the financial burden of having to do all of that. And because we are a 501c6 non-for-profit, those organizations roll up under us under our tax return. So when we file our taxes, we file on behalf of all of our chapters. And then essentially we provide management services for them. So we help guide them with strategic advice. We provide bylaws. We help facilitate meetings. We do board elections for them. So really anything that would be done when you're running an association, we do on behalf of our groups. And we build a community that we're allowing them to have a safe place for them to come and speak openly about issues within their brand to each other. So we have seen, we've been around, it'll be 35 years, and we have seen the impact that it has made in the franchising community just by providing a place for franchisees to come and go that is outside of the world of what their franchisor might be able to offer them.
So you guys mainly work with probably larger organizations that have a big footprint in a certain geography, right? So if we're thinking micro emerging brands, maybe I have 35 owners. You're working with probably larger brands, or do you guys partner with some of these smaller ones where I think if you can get in there first and work with them now, then you create some longevity? But is that typically what your membership base is?
We run the gamut. I would say we're primarily on the small to medium size. So we run groups with as little as 10 members, but we have groups as many as 300-400 members. And their franchise brands vary. So household brands such as Service Master, Pearl Vision was with us for a real long time. Some of those like bigger name household brands, Griswold Home Care is one. They've been with us for probably close to 20 years. But then we have a lot of smaller franchise brands that are just kind of starting up, or you might know of them, but they don't have a huge footprint in the franchising market space in terms of like number of locations throughout their brand. But the number of members can vary, and we don't prohibit really on size. We can manage any size group. Our only thing is that we do ask that if they have to have 5 people at least, because we find that it's hard to do anything with anybody that if you don't have at least 5 franchisees within the brand to try to work towards something, to make a difference.
Are most of when you're getting started with these groups and they're forming an association and they're all within a certain particular franchise system, are they doing this because they are super happy, super unhappy? Are you getting kind of a combination? What's kind of their goal to form this association from a franchisee standpoint?
Most oftentimes, truthfully, it's because they're feeling some unhappiness with their franchisor. So whether it's they feel like they're getting a bad deal on royalties, or their franchise agreement is up for review and things have changed and they're not really feeling like it's a more fair and balanced relationship. And generally speaking, if one franchisee is feeling it, most people in the brand are feeling it. So we try to bring them together as a collective group, regardless of their geography, and help them sort of strategically work through what those problems are. We bridge the gap between them and the franchisor, because we have found that if the franchisees are unhappy and they come as a collective voice, that cliche of, there's the stronger voice in many, but it's very true that the franchisor is more apt to listen. And so we build that connection with the franchisor and kind of help build the gap. We do get groups that will come to us that are really just looking to have a place to communicate with one another, again, in a safe place, so that since we manage all of their communications with our own CRM system, they don't have to worry about impeding on the franchisor's technology, if you will. So sometimes they just want to have a place where they can feel like they can meet regularly, have communications go out, and just have that safe space. But primarily it's because they feel like there's an issue and they want resolve. And so we try to help them, figure out what those issues are and help them navigate.
So how do you guys get introduced to some of these groups, right? Like, I'm finding this very intriguing. I love a good mastermind group, right? I love it when you're able to just kind of find a group of people, be able to talk to them, be like-minded, but you're like results-oriented. How do you guys get more members to this type of opportunity? Do you go directly to franchisees? Do you work with franchisors? Tell us how that works.
A lot of it is word of mouth, or referrals within brands, which has been really great for us. Google is also our friend. I think we come up number 1 if someone wants to find like franchise management associations. We also have strategic partners who are also in the franchising space. So we partner oftentimes with the Coalition of Franchisee Associations, also known as the CFA. We just did a joint event with them. And they actually have a very larger footprint in the franchising space, where their members are boards of their associations, but they're like McDonald's and Popeyes and Planet Fitness and some of those really big brands. So just even having partnerships with organizations like that, industry partners, helps also give us a level of exposure. We have a legislative arm of our business, and that's where those partnerships tend to really focus on, but it gives us, again, just another level of exposure. I will be honest, we tried advertising a little bit, but it just didn't really seem to yield the results that we were looking for. No one really does exactly what we do. So in one respect, we're very fortunate because we don't have really any direct competitors. So people just grassroots just find us, and we are growing exponentially. So without having to do a ton of outbound marketing, we are continuing to grow. So it's working, whatever that it is.
It's always good to get referrals, and we've got a bunch more. We're going to come back with Amy Mancuso from the AAFD right after this on the Franchising 360 show. We are back on the Franchising 360 show. Tim Parmeter with Danielle Wright and our guest, Amy Mancuso from the AAFD. Amy, you were talking about how you're getting these associations, usually within a particular franchise. And unfortunately, sometimes these are getting started because there's something like, apparently if being a franchise owner isn't all rainbows and unicorns and it doesn't just rain millions of dollars right away. But you've been able to kind of bring these owners together, or maybe there's been something that's not been great, to help kind of facilitate that communication with the franchisor. I'm sure you have tons of examples, but give us one of where this association has helped really kind of lead to a positive change within a brand.
Sure. So one of our more notable ones is with the Griswold Home Care Group. So many, many years ago, even preceding my time here, they had a long-standing franchise agreement that was, pretty ironclad. And then, as I understand it, there was some new ownership. The business was sold to somebody else, and the franchisees were not overly thrilled. So they formed as an independent association, and they wanted to just kind of form together and figure out what they could do and what their options were, because they didn't want to sell their businesses. They ended up establishing a legal trust where they all contributed a certain amount of money in preparation for if they had to retain legal counsel to sort of deal with some of the issues that they were dealing with their franchisor. So fast forward a couple of years, they grew very quickly in terms of number of membership members, and then also in their trust commitments of the people that were really dedicated to trying to make this work. And as a result, the franchisor ended up changing things to make a more fair and balanced relationship with the franchisees. And it got to a point where the franchisees, every year at their conference that the franchisor held, they actually started inviting myself and the former chapter manager for that group to attend their conference, where we would meet with the franchisees and talk with them about the benefits of being part of the AAFD Association, because we had gotten into such a great place with them. The reality is that when franchisees and franchisors can actually work together, the franchise associations like that, what we're building and creating, can be a tool for the franchisor, because now you have a group of really happy franchisees. They will also help sell your brand to people. So if they're happy, that's an opportunity for the franchisor. And then the franchisor had a first view of really hearing what the issues were like at street level. They didn't have to hear it secondhand. So that relationship was, it wasn't done overnight. And some of the people that led that charge are still involved in the AAFD today. And many of those members still exist today, and they still have, and they've been through a few iterations, but they still have a great relationship with their franchisor. And anytime there's any kind of disagreement, it's an easier conversation, because I think that history has proven to be very valuable for sort of bridging that gap and letting their voices be heard.
So what's the future hold for you guys? Like what's next for your association to continue to grow and do the great work that it's doing?
We have just hired on some additional resources to support our growth. We are looking to also bring back a program that is going to be more kind of based on what I was just talking about bringing on franchisors and franchisees to bring them together. The AAFD many years ago created a set of standards which are industry accepted as standards for franchisors for their franchise agreements to be measured against. And it's a grading system, and it is a process. But in today's day with technology, we're looking to sort of streamline that process, which I believe could take up to like 2 years. We can now turn that around probably rather quickly. And so that franchisors will have their franchise agreement graded and against these set of standards. So that empowers the franchisor to see where there might be some shortcomings or where franchisees might not be happy. And then they have the ability to make those changes. So that helps them strengthen their brand It helps provide goodwill and show that, they do care about that franchisee-franchisor relationship. So that's a big concentration area that we're looking to for 26 and into the future. So, and then also expanding our legislative reach and industry partners. So, we're trying to do as much as we can for providing member services to our franchisees and growing those services within our own company that our members can take advantage of.
Well, I don't think we talk enough in franchising about the community of owners within a brand. There's nobody that has a better understanding of what's going on in a day in a life than another owner in your brand. And so if something it's not as good as it could be brings people together, great, but it's also cool that they're able to stay together after those things. So if there's a franchisee in whatever brand out there that's listening and like, geez, this AAFD might be good for me and for my brand, what's kind of a first step for somebody to take to get in contact with you guys?
They can simply go to our website, aafd.org, and you can read about what we do and how we support our groups, and you can fill out that contact us form, with just a few questions, and then one of our team members will get back to you. We have a great team of people who have oversight on our membership directly. So the first line of attack would be having a conversation with my colleague, Maya Norwood. And then she kind of takes it from there. So, and then generally the next conversation is a meeting with maybe 5 or 6 other franchisees within your brand to see if that's a path that you want to take. So it's a really simple process, and getting up and running doesn't take but more than a couple of days. It's really where we find the lack is franchisees are really busy. You're running their businesses. So it's just kind of getting on their schedules to facilitate the meetings versus our schedules. So
you're trying to herd quickly. You're trying to herd cats in their schedules, basically. At the beginning, so
a little bit, yeah.
And they want the help, but they just don't know how to open themselves up.
Yes, but I'm free the third Thursday of the month from 10 to 10:15. So work that in.
Right.
So so again, it's AA.
I might be 5 minutes late.
Yes, exactly. So it's aafd.org. Amy, thank you so much for coming on and joining us tonight.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate the time.
We will be right back here on the Franchising 360 show after this.
Thanks again for watching the Franchising 360 show, brought to you by Fran Coach. Danielle and I hope these episodes continue to educate you on the franchise industry. In between our episodes, if you would like to learn more about franchising and the ways in which Fran Coach can help, there are a few places you should check out. First, be sure to listen to the award-winning Franchising 101 podcast. You can find this on Spotify or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. Next, check out the Fran Coach YouTube channel, Fran Coach for You. You can catch past episodes of the Franchising 360 show, plus tons of other content. If you like to read, we encourage you to check out the book, Becoming a Franchise Owner. And finally, when you are ready to take that first personalized step and explore franchise industry further, please reach out to our amazing team at Fran Coach. There is never any fee for our service, so let us help you create your better tomorrow. Until next week, for Danielle Wright, I'm Tim Parmeter. Thanks for tuning in to the Franchising 360 show.